The DeWanna Bonner deal has worked out really, really well for the Indiana Fever. Not that there was actually an official trade, of course. DeWanna Bonner was not traded. She was waived by the Fever. But the way the Fever used the resources gained by that move has not more than made up for losing Bonner, but has been so much better than Bonner was for the Fever. I mean, it's such a huge win of a trade, if you will. And that's because Bonner's money freed up the money to keep Ari McDonald on the roster, the roster spot, as well with Chloe Bibby coming in. You know, those moves being the after effect of what happened with Bonner. And it was a sorely needed addition for McDonald, a backup point guard who's now a starting point guard in the interim, more guard depth, someone else who can play make, command the team, and attack the basket. And then Chloe Bibby, that stretch four that they've been missing, who was just signed for the rest of the season. Meaning Chloe Bibby's audition went really well for the Indiana Fever. Clearly, there you see the graphic. She was signed rest of the season contract. She was on a 7-day contract. She has produced in limited minutes for the team. I mean, playing her role, 24 minutes, 18 points in the 24 minutes, 4 of 8 from beyond the arc. She does not hesitate to shoot the ball. And none of this would have been possible without Bonner, or at least in conjunction. And, you know, McDonald had her career high in the last game. You know, she just brings something else to the table that they didn't have. You know, two things that were missing roster-wise that, you know, are value adds so much more than the loss of Bonner even was, or whether it was felt at all. Here's what Stephanie White said after the game the other night about those two players in particular.
Both not on the team to start the year, both in double figures today. What have you felt like you guys have done so well as a team to integrate players quickly and be able to have productive nights from them whenever you need it?
I mean, I don't know if it's so much us as it is them, and you know, their ability to study the playbook and to really absorb it quickly. You know, we try to limit what we run early when they're on the floor, when they're early in offense. But you know, Ari's a point guard. She's got a point guard mentality. She came in knowing more than half of our offensive sets. And with Bibby, I mean, she's a stretch four and she's a shooter, and we haven't had that. And so when all else fails, just pick and pop. You know, if something happens, just pick and pop. And she's a high IQ player. She understands, you know, how to play, how to make plays. She's shot ready every time, and that's important. And it's also important that our passes are on time, on target to someone who's shot ready all the time. And I think we've been doing a better job with that.
So let's give some credit to first of all, Fever coaching staff. Stephanie White deserves credit. She certainly has gotten plenty of criticism. She deserves the credit for the way that they're playing. And the Fever front office as well. The free agency period, a lot made out of it, including by me, wrong on some of it. But DeWanna Bonner, that move blew up in their face. Natasha Howard has gotten much better as the season went along, and I don't think people can be mad about that signing anymore. But the moves that they've made since then have been the most important ones. The Sophie Cunningham trade, obviously a big addition to the team as well. But let's just say at least as important, the moves that they've made in season. And, you know, you can't just dismiss that. You can't just dismiss picking the right players, making those right acquisitions at the right time, which get the Fever ready for prime time when it comes to the playoffs. Because the next step is how they look when Caitlin Clark is eventually back in the lineup. And these are players who can complement her. Bibby can give her a spell. McDonald can give her a spell. McDonald can play alongside her in spurts. Bibby can be that outlet for her in the corner, like you just heard Coach Stephanie White talk about. And overall, the Fever, you know, final rotation and roster is really coming into fruition. We'll see if they do anything by the deadline, but I don't really think they're in desperate need of anything else at this point. I think they've addressed most of their needs, and now the need is for Caitlin Clark to come back healthy. So all good things. And if we want to have a laugh about it, we can continue to focus on the booing aspect of what happened with DeWanna Bonner, by the way, because this was circulating, this clip, and this is pretty funny. I don't know these women. So again, just like the TikToker the other day, nothing personal, but this is amusing.
DeWanna Bonner returns to Indiana and is met by boos. Kalia Copper called it distasteful. There was a lot of conversation around this. What are your thoughts when you see this vet, this like legend in the game going
Legend in the game. So what? Legends in the game can get booed too. That's one point.
out there and being booed.
I mean, I wouldn't do it. I get it. She left Indiana.
I wouldn't do it either, by the way, like I said before, but I'm not in charge of fans.
I mean, but she also left Phoenix at one point, and now she's back. And I mean, Indiana getting a little hurt over this, a hurt heart space when she didn't contribute very much. She wasn't there for a very long time.
That's the point. First of all, she left Phoenix and came back. Not the same situation. Not all circumstances are the same. And the point is, she sucked for the Fever, asked out after just signing with the Fever, after getting a max deal with the Fever, and then positioned it to only be with one team, which was back with Phoenix. Of course, Fever fans are going to feel a certain type of way. It's not about how much she meant to the franchise. She didn't mean anything to the franchise. They're better off without her. It's about how it went down.
And it just seemed like for both parties that it wasn't a good fit. I don't really know why we booing sis. You know what I'm saying? Indiana still doing all right in a playoff position. I think they figured out their rotations, which was huge and was not happening when Bonner was there.
Again,
so,
this is just like the TikToker. Yeah, okay, Bonner doesn't get credit for that. It doesn't change what happened with her. You're correct. The premise is correct, but Bonner doesn't get any credit or shouldn't get any flowers for that.
Well, it couldn't be me. I think athletes know they might get booed. It just wouldn't have been something that I did. And I think it's also fair that Ka stood up for her current teammate.
I also think it's fair that Kalia Copper stood up for her teammate, but she could have said it better. She could have just said Bonner's a legend in this game. It just shows you, what she means. Or she's been around the block. She can handle it. We got her back.
Yeah, put some respect on DB's name, okay? She's a veteran in this league. She has accomplished so many things, and she made a decision for herself.
Okay, and the decision has consequences and fallout. Why would they have respect on her name when it didn't go respectfully?
That has panned out for her and for Indiana. So put some respect on her name. Don't boo her. I wouldn't be the one either.
She's not an Indiana Fever legend. No. I can't believe it's still a topic. But there it is. Some things are topics for a long time, right? And, Caitlin Clark being targeted by the league. Sophie Cunningham, remember, she brought that up in the podcast. And it's just funny because ESPN sort of changed the tune a little bit about it in a clip that's been circulating as well while I'm playing clips that people are sharing.
I think Caitlin's had a little bit of a target on her back probably since she came into the league. She pushes back though, Ramona.
Yeah, some of that is just hazing. Some of that is exactly what Sophie said. But I also think that she's defined herself as the enforcer now. And I think the fact that her teammates have her back and they're going to stand up for her is what they've been waiting for. The question is, will the refs?
And that's the question I've been having for the longest time, to make sure that the referees, when they legislate and officiate the thing properly, it won't get out of hand. It's just funny that Sophie Cunningham revealing that the Mercury we're sort of seeing what Clark was made of, or whatever the case may be, put it out on the table for everybody to go after, especially after Sophie said it got to be too much. But everything with the Fever gets to be too much. Hence the booing conversation when nobody made think pieces about Sophie Cunningham getting booed at Barclays Center. And so much of what happens with the Fever gets amplified. That's what I guess comes with being, it's good. The heavy is the head that wears the crown, I suppose. And Fever not only rising, but Fever been above everybody else, at least when it comes to attention.